Welcome back to the Midnight Driver. Put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and lock your doors tightly. Tonight, we are driving deep into the darkest corners of modern horror, exploring three of the most disturbing urban legends that have left thousands of people absolutely terrified to sleep in their own homes. These are not your typical ghost stories from ancient history. These are highly intelligent, psychological entities that play with your mind, steal your voice, and glitch through the very fabric of our physical reality. If you're watching this video late at night, I want you to take a moment and look around your room right now. Check the shadows near your closet. Look under your bed. Are you truly alone? Let's begin our journey into the pitch black. Our first nightmare takes us inside the one place you consider the absolute safest in the world, your own home. Imagine it is 2 a.m. on a freezing winter night. You are lying in bed staring at the bright screen of your phone in the dark. The house is completely silent except for the faint ticking of the clock. Suddenly you hear a familiar, comforting voice coming from the kitchen downstairs. It is your mother. She is softly calling your name, asking you to come down right now because she needs your help with something. You get up from your warm bed, walk over to the door, and take a cold step toward the dark stairs. But right at that exact millisecond, your phone buzzes in your hand. You look down. It is a text message from your mom saying, "Just landed at the airport. Traffic is bad. See you in an hour." Cold sweat hits your face instantly. Your heart drops into your stomach. If your mother is still miles away at the airport, then whose voice did you just hear calling your name from the dark kitchen downstairs? You might be dealing with a mimic. This is an ancient, faceless entity that enters human households completely undetected, hiding in crawl spaces, basements, or empty walls. They do not have a voice of their own, so they survive by stealing yours. They are patient hunters. They will stalk your family for weeks from the shadows, learning the exact pitch of your siblings' laugh, the heavy footsteps of your father, or the warm, loving tone of your mother. They do not attack you by breaking down your doors. Instead, they use severe psychological warfare, cleverly luring you into empty rooms by calling your name in a voice you trust the most. There is a famous documented internet archive from an anonymous user in Ohio. He reported hearing his wife's voice crying for help inside the crawl space of his attic. He knew his wife was at work, but the crying sound was so real, so full of pain, that he opened the small wooden hatch. When he shined his flashlight inside, there was nothing but an empty corner, and the sound instantly shifted right behind his back, whispering his name in his own voice. The golden rule for surviving a mimic is incredibly simple but hard to do. If you know you are home alone and you hear a loved one calling you from another room, do not answer, do not move, and most importantly, do not look. Because once you lock eyes with a mimic in the dark, it completely stops pretending to be human, and you will never be heard from again. What if the world around us is an absolute programmed lie? Our second legend is not about ghosts or spirits, but about the terrifying mathematical possibility that we are all living inside a massive coded simulation. This chilling phenomenon is known globally as a glitch in the Matrix. Every single day, thousands of regular people across the globe report witnessing terrifying, unexplainable errors in our physical reality that science simply cannot explain. Imagine a man driving down a lonely highway in Texas. He looks out his window and suddenly sees a flock of birds completely frozen mid-air. Their wings are perfectly still, defying the laws of gravity against a strong wind, as if the video game of life suddenly paused for them. Another famous case involved a woman who dropped a heavy set of metal keys on her wooden floor. She clearly heard the metallic sound of them hitting the ground, but when she looked down, the floor was completely empty. The keys had vanished into thin air, only to mysteriously reappear on her locked kitchen counter an hour later. But the simulation errors get much worse and far more disturbing when they affect human beings. There was a terrifying report from a college student in New York who walked into a subway station and noticed something completely wrong. A man in a red jacket walked past him, coughed twice, and dropped a newspaper. 5 seconds later, the exact same man in the exact same red jacket walked past him again, coughed twice, and dropped the exact same newspaper in the exact same spot. It was a perfect looping animation error in reality. Mainstream scientists try to dismiss these events as simple psychological exhaustion or déjà vu. But those who have seen it with their own eyes know the terrifying truth. The simulation is overloading, the server is breaking down, and reality is failing to load on time. And here is the scariest part. If you notice a glitch in public, and the system realizes that a human asset has witnessed the code breaking, you instantly become a dangerous bug in the program. Everyone around you might suddenly stop what they're doing and turn their heads to stare at you with blank, lifeless eyes. And in any computer program, dangerous bugs get permanently deleted without leaving a trace. Watch your surroundings very closely tomorrow morning. You might just catch the world loading a bit too slow. Our final story tonight comes from the deepest, most unsettling corners of the internet, the Mandela Catalogue. These terrifying creatures are known as alternates, and they are arguably the most dangerous entities on this list. They are biological doppelgangers, malevolent, shape-shifting entities that can look exactly like you, perfectly copy your facial structure, wear your exact clothes, and access your deepest, most private personal memories. However, their physical transformation is never 100% perfect. It always has one tiny, horrifying flaw. Their limbs might be slightly too long, their eyes might look completely hollow and black, or their smile stays just a bit too wide to be humanly possible. An alternate's primary goal is total psychological destruction. They do not hunt you down with knives or weapons. Instead, they trap you in a room, isolate you from the world, and speak to you in distorted, otherworldly frequencies. They whisper secrets and terrifying universal truths that completely break your sanity, eventually forcing you to end your own life so they can permanently take your place in the real world. No one would ever know you were gone because the entity now lives in your house, talks to your friends, and sleeps in your bed. Consider the chilling story of Gabriel, a young man who woke up at 3 a.m. to the sound of scratching inside his bedroom closet. He thought it was a mouse, so he slowly got out of bed and pulled the closet door open. Sitting on the floor of his closet, curled up in a ball, was his exact double. It had his face, his hair, and his clothes. But as Gabriel backed away in absolute horror, the creature unfolded itself, stretching its arms unnaturally long, and smiled a smile that reached from ear to ear, whispering, "I am you now." Imagine sitting quietly in your bedroom at night, and you hear a soft, rhythmic knock on your second-story window. You know it's impossible for a human to be out there. You slowly walk over, open the curtains, and look out into the darkness. Standing directly under the dim streetlights below is an exact copy of you. It is looking back up at your bedroom window, staring directly into your soul, and smiling that massive, unnaturally wide smile. The Department of Temporal Phenomena has issued a strict emergency warning for this specific threat, called the THINK Protocol. If you ever encounter an alternate, you must follow it immediately. Tell no one about what you saw because it spreads like a virus. Hide from the entity at all costs in a room with no windows. Interlock your hands in silent prayer, and never let them know you are afraid. Because the moment they realize you are absolutely terrified, they have already won the psychological war, and your identity belongs to them. 3 completely different modern urban legends, and 3 terrifying ways to completely lose your mind after midnight. The world becomes a much darker, much more dangerous place the moment the sun goes down. The lights go out and the shadows stretch across your walls. Which of these 3 stories genuinely terrified you the most, and is going to keep you awake tonight? Do you fear the voice of the mimic, the broken code of the Matrix, or the hollow smile of your own alternate? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one of them. If you want to survive the terrors of the night and keep your mind safe from the dark, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now and join our permanent midnight journey. Don't let the shadows catch you off guard. This is the Midnight Driver, signing off for the night. Sleep tight tonight if you can.